90% of setting up Deco Network software outside of building your website revolves around making sure your product line is as easy to use as possible for your customers. It doesn't matter if you have a great website or you have Deco Network's awesome software. If your customer can't find a product to decorate that fits their wants and needs, and then once they find the product, it doesn't actually provide the proof and price properly like they want. So, back here in the admin product section, you have all of the products that you have available to offer on your websites or just Business Hub. Before we talk about any of these product sections, I want to go through the other settings here. So first, select catalog. Select catalog is where we can choose what suppliers we want to add. And within a catalog, we can also choose to just add certain brands if we would prefer. Now, every so often you want to come back here and you want to click save and refresh it. The reason being is you'll see notifications that says if you click save, so many products will be updated or added. And what it is every quarter, every month or so, suppliers will gain more products, and eventually Deco Network adds them into the system. And in order for them to be added to your Deco Network account, you need to come back here and click save to refresh them, and then they will be populated. If a supplier starts changing what colors are available or sizes or discontinues a product, again, that save will update all of the products if they've been added through here, the select catalog. Supplier product markup. So the blank products themselves need to have a markup for applying how much we're going to increase the price to the customer. Now, if you're on the premium or enterprise plan, you do have the ability to create different contract price levels, so you can essentially change how much you're marking up the blank products to the customer. It's also very common nowadays to use a tiered markup. And the thinking behind a tiered markup is the more expensive the product, the less we mark it up. So, if you're trying to, let's say you're decorating a Carhartt jacket. If I take a 50% markup on the Carhartt, it could be pretty expensive for the customer and drive them away. So I'm better off maybe taking a 35% and still making a nice chunk of change off of the blank. But the act of decorating the product is where the majority of our work comes in. I would have said 10 years ago, most of us in the industry doubled our the cost of the product to set the final price. So typically we were all around 100%. Nowadays, we're closer to 50% here, and we put more of the markup itself in the decoration process. Our hard work revolves around the act of decorating, not really just buying a blank. So you'll have a lot more flexibility in pricing if you just keep this markup around 50%. Supplier count details is where we, all of the suppliers that we've added from the select catalog, or if we want to add a custom supplier, we can. If you add a supplier that's within the catalog, you are going to want to come into edit and make sure that the pricing is correct. Most of the time we're always on case, and some of the suppliers like Sanmar here does have the ability to use the live ordering within Business Hub when we're raising a purchase order. Decoration areas. The decoration areas section is where we can set what default areas are used for certain types of products. So adult tops, essentially t-shirts, sweatshirts, anything that's a top, and then you see that we break it down by process. So most of the time for embroidery, left and right chest always are on. Printing, if we want to print in the left or right chest, we can just put it in the top left or right of the body. You don't every time the customer adds artwork to a area, it's going to add a decoration cost. So if we embroidered the left and the right chest, that should be 2 hooping fees, essentially we're hitting them with 2 embroidery fees. If we were to print a left and a right chest, we wouldn't thread the shirt onto the platen twice. So up here we can choose what processes we want on, and then our sizes here. Most of the time, front, back, left, right, chest. We often will use the sleeves. I see typically sleeves between 3 to 4 inches. Left and right sleeves typically are around 3 by 16. And then down here, the split body top is essentially when we're on hooded sweatshirts. Most of the time this is a square 12 by 12. And lastly, the other common one is a collar back. So this is kind of the back yoke of more like polos and sweatshirts and so forth. So I see this typically at 4 inches wide by 2 inches tall. Okay, so let's click save. And that will apply it to all of the products and become our default decoration areas. Now, if you've already edited a decoration area, it will not update when you save this default. The volume discounts will apply a discount, obviously. It's not like it's going to automatically go across the board. We can create these discounts and then choose which product groups apply that discount. And the discount itself can be across just that line item or all items using the same artwork or just the blank. Contract price levels. If you're on the premium or enterprise plan, the contract price levels here, essentially all we do here is just define what the levels are. They're just terms, and then we actually associate the blank product markup and then the decoration process price tables that are used with those levels, and then within a customer's account we can define what level they're on. Product groups. So product groups are very important to understand. Different types of products decorate very differently. If we're going to decorate apparel, it's very different than decorating a mug. So by creating different product groups, we can assign bulk actions and decisions to the products in that group. So if I come here to apparel, for example, now we can sublimate, for example, apparel. But let's say our shop doesn't really do it on apparel. I can just turn it off. Now sublimation will never be an option by default for any apparel. It makes life much easier when you're configuring and trying to set what can and cannot be done on the products. I can also set what default price table is to be used for that process if it's necessary to override it. You can again view what the default markup is for that group. If you wanted to charge more for a higher markup for t-shirts, for example, I could create a t-shirts group, and I wanted to have a lower markup for sweatshirts. I technically could. Again, though, I could just use the tiered markup. One thing that's often controlled here are custom fields. You're not really going to need to do this for apparel, but if you're selling banners or just a lot of different types of products, custom fields, which can be configured here, allow us to upcharge or gather additional information from the customer. In my example here, let's say we offer wide format banners, and the couple things that might affect the price for the banner other than the size itself would be the material. Are we using the cheaper vinyl? Are we using the heavier duty vinyl? Are we using mesh? And then secondly, how are we finishing it? Are we grommeting? Are we hemming? And you can so these custom fields are essentially used to gather additional information, and that additional information can upcharge the customer if we want. So by changing based on what option the customer picks, it will affect the price that they're charged, and in real time they'll be able to see it. All right, last couple down here. Blank product display just controls how products are displayed on your website or affiliate websites as well if you are on the premium enterprise plan. This is something that you might configure one time and then you're never going to really come back here. The one configuration I highly suggest you look at is to change the view of sizes to show all available sizes. Lastly, we have inventory settings. The inventory settings here is pretty much what do we do when we run out of stock? And that's kind of it right here as far as inventory. We can also export our inventory to a CSV if you have inventory at the moment. All right, so once you've gone through all of those settings, you're then ready to tackle the products here. By going through the core products and making sure that they decorate exactly the way they should and provide the real-time proof and price that your customer desires. Check out our other video on how to actually go through these products and make them perfect for your customers to use or when you're creating a quote or order in Business Hub.